Hello and welcome to Talk from Superheroes. Hey everybody, I'm Andrew Ivamy.
And I'm Diana McCullum.
And you're listening to Talk from Superheroes, where every week we discuss a piece of heroic television or film. And this week on the podcast, we are talking about a new one. We're talking about Argylle.
We're talking about Argylle. Neither of us are Argylle, but we're going to talk about Argylle.
We're not. Neither of us are. We're not wearing Argylle.
Oh, that's kind of Argylle.
Yeah. You know
what? I forgot it was a thing.
I actually forgot to tell you that it was a thing because as we were watching the movie, I was like, wow, a lot of use of the Argylle pattern. I need to remember to remind Diana that this is also a pattern and a fashion thing, and that is kind of one of the things that they're playing off of here, and I forgot to remind you. So I'm sorry to blindside you with the...
Oh, man, now I don't even know what it is, though.
It's
I know
like
there's
the diamond
Argylle
pattern.
Sweaters. Oh.
Yeah, it's the
diamond.
pattern.
Okay.
You know those like diamonds on diamonds that kind of like cut across and...
I can picture it now. I can't picture it at any point in the film.
Oh, her necklace was Argylle with an Argylle pattern.
Oh, the necklace.
Yeah, there's a lot of the book cover is all in Argylle. The backpack that has the cat in it is 100% Argylle.
Okay.
Yeah.
That also just kind of feels like the Matthew Vaughn style, but I guess that's maybe where he got the...
It's not.
It's not.
But we're talking about Argylle.
Okay.
The film today.
But also apparently the style.
The style as well. There is fashion in it. So we're talking about the new film by director Matthew Vaughn. Last week we covered some early Matthew Vaughn with Stardust. Today it's that new shit. Whenever we're talking about a new movie or TV show, we always like to give you a spoiler-free review. So in case you're on the fence about seeing it, if you're not sure if it's worth your time or you just want a taste of the episode before you do go watch it, we're going to give you a spoiler-free review. Then, once you hear the theme music, that is when we will enter the spoiler-filled section. So for now, spoiler-free review. We'll start with the usual, the simple question. Diana, did you like it?
Oh, yeah. I liked it fine. I think the first two acts are, like, fine, and then I think Act 3 is pretty strong and really fun. I think the first two acts don't want to admit that they're a dumb action movie, and then Act 3 is like, yeah, we're just a dumb action movie. Don't even worry about it, you guys. So you really have to be like, it's just a dumb action movie. There's nothing too serious going on here. But yeah, I think the action is great. Matthew Vaughn had a lot of fun with a lot of these fight scenes. He saved a lot of the fun till the very end. Oh yeah, Act 3 really shines. Sam Rockwell's having a really great time. The plot's ridiculous, but if you're just like fine with that, it's not a big deal. But I'm also going to pick it apart after the spoiler-free review because a lot of it didn't make any fucking sense. And I would say the biggest thing bringing this movie down for me is probably Bryce Dallas Howard. I very nothing this actress. I don't think she's charming, but I don't think she's funny, and I don't think she's any of the things she's supposed to be in this movie. And I don't even dislike her. I just nothing her. And she really brings down everything else that's happening around her by like really, really talented actors. So I think her being the lead is surprising, and I don't care for it very much. But I think overall I like the movie fine, and I think the third act's quite good, which is shocking lately in film. Doesn't happen very much. So that's me. I liked it just fine. Andrew, did you like Argylle?
I loved it. It is great. I mean, love might be strong, but it's great. It slaps. It's a fantastic time. I really, really did have a great time watching this. I will disagree with you a little bit in regards to its rhythm and act structure. I think Act 1 is the best. I think this opens hard and slaps, and it is amazing and fast and fun and knows what it is and is super confident. Like the first 30, 40 minutes of this movie are incredibly fun. And I think it sags in the middle, and it does pull it back together in Act 3.
Okay.
So I think it middle sags, but I think this opens so strong and fun. And frankly, like I like the beginning more than the ending. It sags in the middle, but I like the beginning more than the ending.
I like the ending more than the beginning.
And there's some incredible action pieces that we'll talk about in this one. I don't quite agree with you on Bryce Dallas Howard. I do think that she is, for the most part, I can't really recall a project where I've seen her fully pop. This was closer to like her actually having some charm and presence, and I think she works with Rockwell, but she doesn't shine.
I think Rockwell's doing all the work, though. I think Rockwell pops with anyone.
Yeah.
So I just imagine like an actress who popped in this role, and then this movie would be a love.
No, I can get that. But even then, I think that she does a job that is, it doesn't drag anything down. It's not a problem. It's it's adequate, and then there's just a lot to love around it as well. There are some really great performances. The action is slick and smooth. It looks great. I think it's big, dumb fun, and it knows it's big, dumb fun. So I love the tone. I love the look. I love the action. Just a star-studded cast. I think it was fun beginning to end. I had a really great time with this.
I liked it, and I think if I saw it again, I would like it more, actually. Knowing that it knows what it is eventually, because I do think in the first 2 acts it's trying to pretend it's not what it is, but like not on purpose. I don't really know how to wrap my head around this in a spoiler-free way. But yeah, I think on second viewing, if I was like, I know what this movie is, and I think it does too, I would maybe get higher to a love. I don't think I'd like Bryce Dallas Howard anymore, but I think I would be like, oh, I see what you're doing, movie.
Okay, I get that. See,
on a first viewing, I was like, just a pretty okay like.
I really think it knew what it was from the first seconds. The first absolute, but we'll talk more about that. And can it be spoiled?
Yes, this movie can be spoiled.
I agree.
Things
it can
happen.
Yeah.
As in most movies, but more so than in other movies.
Yeah, there's additional load-bearing components that the trailers don't give you, which I think is actually really fun and nice. That
Pretty
this
rare.
is and it's rare that like there was a level of restraint to the advertising campaign for this, and it has enough. It has enough things going on that it has room for restraint and still keep an advertising campaign about it. But yeah, it shows a level. If you've only seen the advertisements, there's a level of restraint there, and there are some levels and things that they held back on this one.
Which is, yeah, I think that's surprising for marketing and for Matthew Vaughn.
Yeah.
So good for you guys.
Good for you guys, I guess. All right, so you're a medium, and I'm a high. I think it's great. I'm a great.
Okay,
Yeah.
excellent.
You're a medium. I'm a great. It can be spoiled.
I think I could be talked up.
I'm not gonna try to talk to you.
You are.
I'm gonna talk to you about why I'm up there. I'm not trying to get you up there. You can stay at whatever level you're currently at.
All right.
Well, let's talk more about it in the spoiler-filled section. Let's talk more about Argylle. All right, we have seen Argylle. I have shown Diana what the pattern of Argylle is.
So now I've really seen Argylle.
Now you've really
I've seen the
seen
movie.
it.
I've seen the pattern.
Yeah, because I could tell by the look on your face previously when I was like, it's the little diamonds that you nodded. But you know when someone nods with the vacant nod of like, they're not picturing the right thing at all.
You want to know what I was picturing?
What were you picturing?
Cable knit sweaters.
You were picturing cable knit sweaters.
They have kind of diamonds on certain ones.
Sometimes they can.
That's what I was picturing.
Sometimes, like a real fisherman-y cable knit sweater might have one or two big diamond
like a
things.
Knives Out Chris Evans cable knit sweater.
I understand what you're thinking of,
but
no.
I see it now. Yeah, that's very Kingsman-y. Like Matthew Vaughn loves that. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have seen Argylle. We are now in the spoiler-filled section.
And again, this movie does have spoilers. Just if you've like jumped ahead and think this is a movie that doesn't.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
It does. It does. It has a second level to it, but I think I really want to zone in on the opening of this movie. Here is actually where I will try to sell you on my perspective. Because usually I'm like, if I like a thing better or I think a thing's worse, whatever, I'll explain my thoughts, but I'm not really trying to like change your perspective. I think this first act knows what it is so fucking hard and leans in so hard. Opening on the movie within the movie, we're seeing the imagery of the novel of Argylle, not a movie based on the book Argylle within the film Argylle.
No, the book. She's reading it.
She's reading it, and it's her imagination. I love that as well, that this isn't... that the meta-narrative is not, it's a book that got so popular it was turned into a movie. That the meta-narrative is we are seeing the world of Argylle as she pictures it in her head. I think that's dope and a fun, slightly different interpretation. And it's hammy and it's campy. Like Henry Cavill at one point does like a 50-50 grind of a car.
That was great. great.
down a stairwell. Like, it is Fast and Furious turned to 15. But like with obviously James Bond elements. I think that action was so campy and fun. The like, do you know how to helicopter? They do one dance move alone on a dance floor. But
I believe it's the whirlybird.
The whirlybird, not the helicopter. Sorry, the whirlybird. One absurd dance move. I flat out felt like this opening sequence was so silly and zany and aware, but done with full budget and sincerity. It honestly felt like I was watching a purposefully done Austin Powers movie with an unlimited budget. Like, it was that level of spy zaniness, but like we actually have an action scene in here. Yeah, I loved that opening.
I think the opening was really fun. I think an opening like that, it was really fun. Like, I love Henry Cavill. I love John Cena. Dua Lipa looks beautiful. Have fun with your whirlybird on Henry Cavill's shoulders. Jealous as hell, girl. You get it. I had a lot of fun with the opening. Yeah, I think all of my like less fun issues are with Bryce Dallas Howard herself. And also like the opening is very fun, but you're also just like waiting for it to change because you know this is like Bryce Dallas Howard's movie. So like, when's the shoe gonna drop? But in the meantime, it is really cool that you grinded that weird little car down that staircase. That's really funny. I also really like John Cena grabbing her off the motorcycle.
That's a really great visual.
Because you really expected, I thought he was gonna do like an armbar across her throat and she'd like fly off. But to just pick her up like a dog who's misbehaving was really cute and funny. So that was a really great way to end that action sequence.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, all the action in this slaps. I think the only things that like don't slap for me are like just like when there's just like a lull and it's like, here's some plot and Bryce Dallas Howard's running away from Sam Rockwell and just anything that doesn't involve Sam Rockwell or action. Sam Rockwell's so good.
So you're really coming for Bryce Dallas Howard on this one,
She brings this whole movie down for me. Honestly, different actress, this movie's a love.
Yeah.
And also, actually, I don't like the cat either.
I really don't like the cat.
The cat doesn't work.
The cat doesn't work.
Okay,
the
so
cat
we're on
does
the same
not work.
page about that. Because, like, if there's an animal companion in a movie, that's what the movie has to be about. This has to be the movie about this person and their animal companion who has a lot of personality and who you really like or is super cute or has something going on. You can't just have a cat in a backpack who is just as nothing as Bryce Dallas Howard is. I see why she likes this cat. It's not cute. It's not cute. It's not plot relevant. It's not plot relevant. It does like one or two things, but like it doesn't have any secrets. It doesn't have any load-bearing stuff to do. It doesn't change anything.
It's just a cat in a backpack.
They just really liked the idea of having a cat in a backpack. So I have to get that off my chest immediately, and it might be all love from here.
No, let me join in on this because I also kind of want to go off on this for a second. I agree. It's nothing. The cat doesn't have a personality, a characteristic. They try to end the movie with like the cat attacking Bryan Cranston's character, and it's like, what? Like, why?
Sam Rockwell threw you off a building earlier, and you're cool with him.
Yeah, like what is the person? Like, there's no personification of what this cat is. So I'm like, okay, if this cat's gonna be a character, you've got to like make it a character, come up with a thing to be like, this cat hates people who try to pet it under the chin. And then Bryan Cranston tries to do that and it attacks Bryan Cranston. But like it somehow just knows that this is the villain in the final. It's idiotic. Give the cat a personality or get it out of here.
Or the cat eats bullets and the USB drive's inside the cat now. Or
I really thought at some point the cat would be plot relevant. It is why we're doing this, I don't know. Also, it's not even like most of the time, it's not a real cat. It's a CGI cat inside of a domed backpack. Like, we're not huge cat people.
We're not.
But if you're a cat person and you see a cat in a movie, I imagine that you get the same endorphin rush that we as dog people get when we see a dog in a movie, where we're like, dog! And happiness washes over us.
So much happiness washes over us.
And there are a handful of moments where it is real cat. And I imagine if you're a cat person, you're like, cat! This gives me a wave of endorphins. But for most of it, it is just a CGI cat in a CGI backpack that is idiotic. I feel so bad for the visual effects people who had to work with this as well, because the fact that she is wearing a domed backpack, round cylindrical glass on a backpack that has a cat in it. First of all, that wasn't actually there because you'd be able to see the reflection of the cameras in it. Everything that's glass usually in film is put in post. So that means that they have a backpack with no thing on it that later in post, some visual effects artist has to put in a 3-dimensional round scan of a glass object reflecting the environment with a warped image of a cat within it because round warps the edges, which they do a good job matching, but it's an insane amount of work for something that is absolutely nothing. It means that every single moment that Bryce Dallas Howard is walking is a wildly intricate, several layer deep CGI shot that a visual effects department had to meticulously work on to get the reflections of rounded glass and a weird cat that wasn't there and doesn't need to be in the shot.
I love all this. I agree in every single way. Not plot relevant, gave so much work, must have cost so much money. I actually, until I read the trivia, never thought the cat was real. He's such a weird looking cat. I was like, oh, it's CGI'd 100% of the time, I guess.
I could see why you would think that.
And I'm going to say, yes, we are dog people, but there's cats I like. I like Moose and Captain Marvel.
Yeah, that's a cat with a personality.
Yeah, that cat has personality, is also an alien and eats people, but like, just as dangerous as this cat Alfie.
Yeah.
So yeah, the cat was nothing. Also plot-wise, I was just confused about whether she was a cat person or not. Because like apparently Rachel was a dog person, but when she gets her memories back, she's like, I still love the cat and want to keep the cat. I really, really hoped she was just going to leave it in that hotel room when she left it in that hotel room.
I don't know if something's going on with Matthew Vaughn. Because
Tell me more.
Because Kingsman had this too. So
the dogs.
No, Kingsman also had a cat scene. It's before the dog scene.
Yes, he did.
So for those of you who don't know, there was a famous screenwriting book called by Blake Snyder called Save the Cat, and it's all about like you want to show someone's a hero, you have to show them save a cat in an opening scene. And I don't know if Matthew Vaughn's doing this as a wink and a nudge. I don't know if Matthew Vaughn is like slavishly into this book, or if he's like.
The rules say.
Or if he's ironically doing it or hanging a lantern on it, because in Kingsman, the first like car chase scene, when Eggsy isn't even a Kingsman yet, he stops the car to save a cat during a police chase. And he's just doing it so literally and hanging a lantern on it. I'm like, do you love this screenwriting book? Do you hate this screenwriting book? Are you being sarcastic towards the idea of this screenplay tip? I don't know what you feel, but clearly you're fucked up about it in some way that you keep hanging a lantern on this, Matthew Vaughn.
You are haunted by this because, yeah, I mean, you are supposed to save a cat to make a character likable to the point where as good as Sam Rockwell is in this movie, and I love him and I think he really pops, when he threw that cat off a building, I was like, oh, you are going to be the bad guy? You just threw a cat off a building.
It's a little weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
Little weird. So nothing, thank you so much. Okay. We're mostly going to be praised from this point.
All right. I'm 1,000%. We've had slight disagreements already, but I am 1,000% on board with you for the whole cat thing.
Excellent. Because if we're still in the first act and we're talking about like the CG and action work of like putting the cat in, that aside, the train fight where it keeps cutting from Sam Rockwell to Henry Cavill was incredible.
Holy shit, that's so good.
The cuts were seamless. The choreography was the exact same, and it was such a long sequence. This wasn't just like 2 or 3 shots where him and Henry Cavill did the same thing. It was like, no, we are finishing each other's movements like harder than finishing each other's sentences. Like, it was wildly impressive. It was seamless. The CG couldn't be spotted. There weren't any of those like she would blink, but it was like this scene is still the same scene.
Yes. Yep.
Like Henry Cavill and Sam Rockwell definitely had to switch places, reset the stuntman, finish the move the exact same.
This is what's wild about the accomplishment of this scene. That means they filmed this minimum 4 times. It is a Cavill filmed scene, it is a Rockwell filmed scene, and then each of their individual stunt people going through the entire scene again with motorized camera movements that matching the physicality, getting this cut together. And, they can finesse some stuff in post into like warp effects to actually kind of get them to line up a little bit better and whatnot. But they still had to do this scene so many times, and the amount of attention to detail. And outside of the attention to detail, sometimes like a movie will do a technique or something and be like, look how hard we worked at this. And it's like, but there's no reason for it, and it's not fun.
Backwards fighting in Tenet
to be like, You worked really hard. I am so bored. This sucks. This is visual. It's
really complicated.
It's
Nolan.
really complicated. You
Really-
accomplished it. I feel nothing. Everything's emotionless and it sucks. This is one where I'm like, it's fucking fun. It's plot motivated. It's relevant. It's new. It's fresh. I love what they did here. And Matthew Vaughn, I feel like, doesn't get enough credit. Like, that church fight scene from Kingsman was something that, like, was very popular for a moment. And I feel like a lot of other people kind of tried to emulate afterwards, seeing that popularity. I think this is something that we're going to see emulated. I guarantee you within a couple of years, we're going to see a Marvel movie that has the multiverse is flicking and it's going to be this effect, but the hero changes because the timeline has altered. We are going to see.
the Marvels kind of did that with them popping in and out.
I think a little bit.
It wasn't this seamless and cool.
It wasn't like this. We are going to see someone copy this within the next few years in a much a bigger audience type of movie. It is an incredible thing.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Because I think the church fight in Kingsman, the people took away that people liked that it was a long one-shot fight scene. And that's not what was great about it. It was great that it was like an interesting, high-energy, brutal fight scene that was in one shot, like hidden with like cuts.
Yeah.
But then people just added like really long fight scenes that in one shots in like John Wick and Atomic Blonde and everything. But like there's a specialness to how he does it. And I think this will be copied. You're right.
Yeah.
And it also tells the story.
So for those
more
of
so
you-
than Bryce Dallas Howard's performance, what's being shown through her eyes is telling the story.
And for those of you who didn't see it, essentially what's happening here is it's Sam Rockwell's character who's a real life spy, and he gets into a fight scene. And every time Bryce Dallas Howard blinks, it switches over to the fictional character she has written called Argylle, played by Henry Cavill. So it's this and you see the blink effect, you see the eyelid blink, and it flicks between Sam Rockwell and Henry Cavill as she's blurring the lines between what reality and her novel is. And she's having a difficult time telling what is what. And it looks really cool. It's really fun. It's great choreography. Live switching like that is great. And it's a great way to have a long, similar to what he did with that shot in Kingsman, was that it's a long oneer with a bunch of edits kind of hidden in the middle, which is what the church shot was, where it was just it would go behind people's back and it would be a digital edit. In this scenario, he's using the blink effect as the digital edit, so it makes it seem like a long one shot. And it kind of is, but they had a narrative way of switching it over. It just works really well.
Yeah, it works really well. It really tells the story well. You can feel like Ellie is trying to see this guy as a spy, but he's not matching up to what Argylle does in anything except his movements. She's like, but that's not what spies are. You can almost she doesn't actually say that, but the movie's saying that for you, and that's why she won't trust him right away. And it's really good storytelling.
Yeah.
Through through incredibly fun visuals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looked great. Very, very fun. And also, I was so glad that Henry Cavill got to be in scenes that weren't just book scenes.
Yes.
I was like, oh, good. Henry Cavill gets to be here more often because he's fun.
He's fun, and he works in both. And I think, as we've discussed before with Man from U.N.C.L.E. and a few other things, where it's
so good at Man from
Henry Cavill is a very smart and talented actor who has range, and he understands comedy, he understands camp, he knows how to do heightened things. He is most known for maybe Superman and Witcher, but he is a lot more than that and has a lot more to give. And I'm not going to say that this is the most he's given in film, but he gives some variance of what he can do here.
Yeah, if this was just the Argylle film and there was no meta-narrative about Ellie, it would be a banger.
Yeah.
I would love to see Henry Cavill just play a spy again for an entire movie. Man from U.N.C.L.E., he's so good. That movie has its ups and downs, but he's so good in it.
Yeah.
He gets the humor so well of what's happening. So yeah, I was really quite sad when Ellie found her confidence and Argylle turns to her and he's like, you don't need me anymore. I was like, no, Henry Cavill, don't leave.
No, Henry Cavill, come back.
Henry Cavill, you're so fun. Damn it.
And I would even say the comedy of when she's trying to write the new scene, and also the visual effects
yeah, I
of
forgot about that one.
of him talking to the other woman in front of the fireworks, and it's you want to see real fireworks and kisses, and be like, no, that doesn't work. And Henry Cavill selling a female writer's internal dialogue of nah, that doesn't work, it's too cheesy. But he's delivering it. It's really well done.
Yeah.
It's really well done. He knows how to sell that.
He knows how to sell that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's really fun. And then we get to actually, I think this movie was pretty fun when we're trying to like. I actually believed the plot of this movie was that she had to guess what was happening and that she was not a spy with her memories removed.
Oh, okay.
Did you see that she was a spy with? Do you think you figured that?
No, but between her inability to tell reality, I was like, oh, there's a second layer to this that we're getting to. I thought that she had seen something, or that like she was like meant to like, and had her memory wiped or something. I didn't think she was Argylle.
Yeah. I don't think I did either. I don't think I knew what I thought it was, but I definitely didn't think she was Argylle. And this is kind of a compliment now after the fact. Because Matthew Vaughn is usually a little bit sexist, I didn't expect her to be a badass at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like usually if he's got like badass ladies, they don't have any lines.
Yes.
Or like they're just there to look pretty or whatever. They don't have like a lot of agency. They're not really fleshed out characters. So like I was like, well, she's just gonna be a writer. Like that's just all it's gonna be. So the reveal that she was a badass, I was like, that's not like you, Matthew Vaughn. You tricked me due to your past histories.
I agree. This is a non-problematic film from Matthew Vaughn.
Yeah, no, I have no problem with anything in this movie, and I've never said that about a Matthew Vaughn film.
It could use like a little bit more prevalence of like people of color and things like that. It's
That's
a pretty
true.
white cast with one or two exceptions who don't have a ton of screen time, but like there's nothing offensive or gross in here, really. Like
What a low bar.
the whirlybird joke might be like the height of like, I don't know if we need to do that, but it's also kind of funny and we're satirizing that, so I don't know if is it a wink and a nudge or are we forcing it in? But that's as weird as it gets, is the whirlybird. It's a dance move where your crotch is right in someone's face.
I will say, as a woman, I think it worked.
Okay.
I didn't find anything offensive about the whirlybird. I mean, like, you know, you'd want to do it with Henry Cavill. And then if you were a badass lady, you'd be like, spin me around. I'm going to kick some ass with my legs out in the air. Yeah.
I also like that later when Bryce Dallas Howard turns into a badass, that she does the move to Sam Rockwell. That she whirlybirds him. She lifts him up and he's doing the splits, crotch in your face, traditionally like shown in the movie to be a feminine move with her. And I'm like, that's actually kind of awesome.
I really did like that kind of through that whole fight scene. Like they'd dip each other. They would both get dipped. Like it was a very like actual partners equality. Like no one leads. We both dance together.
It was nice.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Yeah. So there was some nice stuff there. This feels like almost kind of a pre-Rebel Moon when we talked about like a Zack Snyder glow up, to be like, you've gotten better with time, Zack Snyder. Be like, Matthew Vaughn, look at you making steps forward and getting a little bit better. I like that. But I think that we're on slightly...
We've jumped too far ahead.
We've jumped too far ahead. I think Act 2 is where this movie falls. I don't really mind the I have amnesia and I'm actually a spy storyline, but it just takes way too fucking long to get there. The second act drags. There's one action scene. There's not a lot of charm or charisma in the second act of the like, can you figure out how to write it? Your parents are here. It's Sam Jackson. It kind of feels like a guest star parade of buying time.
Yeah, I mean, I think I liked the apartment fight quite a bit. I really did like the twist and smash discussion was pretty funny.
That was, I liked the apartment fight.
The apartment fight, but then after that, like everything, like even just jumping onto the boat was super dumb. Just jump in the water. It's only 3 stories. I was so annoyed. I was like,
it's a 3-story walk up, jump in the water.
It's a jump. There's water.
There's
right
water
next to the boat.
to it. That's what boats are in.
Yeah, so that was just bothering me the whole time. And yeah, then it's just like you're at the hotel for quite a while. You have to do a long sequence to get your parents to London, a bunch of phone calls.
Yeah.
And then like, you know, it's Captain O'Hara, it's Bryan Cranston's your dad. They're not. It's really quite long.
Yeah.
And also the backstory of like you were Rachel and you fell in a lake and then they brainwashed you, and it's like it's actually like a cool story, but it takes such a long time.
They don't tell it efficiently.
No, it is not an efficiently told story.
Because it could be told in one scene in one setting, but instead it is the like, I flew to London, but you're afraid of flying. Well, we'll get over there. I'll have your dad book the flight. And then it's like, why are we having this fun? There's just a bunch of scenes that really could be a like we saw we got your email that you're in London. We're here now. It's me and your dad. Bryan Cranston walks in, reveal, we tell the whole backstory. But instead, it's really drawn out in this piecemeal fashion.
Yeah, I forgot about the plane thing. That was pointless.
The plane thing is pointless.
Like the neighbor shows up. Oh, the neighbor was at least kind of funny. The neighbor showing up with the cell phone. And it showed that Ellie was like smart. That's a smart way to call someone when you think their phone's tapped.
Yeah, like these little character details, but I'm
it's still like not enough to keep you engaged.
The little thing of like, we showed Ellie was smart by now introducing a neighbor character, and it's a little funny because it's a scene with Catherine O'Hara, and like she's phenomenal. She's a comedy
really
legend, and bless everything she's ever done, including this. But it's just like, okay, but now we've wasted 3 extra time. And it's just these little 3 minutes at a time add up where it's just like, what the fuck are we doing? We need to pick this second act's momentum up. I don't need to meet the neighbor. The Samuel L. Jackson stuff's taking too long. I don't need like Samuel L. Jackson's walk and talk speech about grapes. And I'm just like, that's not even a metaphor for anything going on in the movie.
That doesn't come up at all.
No, we just spent 3 minutes just talking the fuck about grapes. It's not, delete this. Delete this.
I mean, I understand not deleting a Samuel L. Jackson scene.
Yeah,
But plot-wise, it's not relevant. Performance-wise?
Always relevant.
Always crushing it.
So, the second act really is what bogs it down. I was in from minute 1, and then I really started getting, like, a little laggy and losing momentum in the second act.
Yeah, the lack. This is a movie that is very reliant on its very interesting, cool fight scenes.
Yes.
And Sam Rockwell's humor. So if you take those things away, it is not doing as well. But then you get to Act 3, and I think Act 3 was just a banger.
Yeah.
I mean, the keeper was like maybe nothing. It was fun when they danced, but like her getting the key was nothing for the most part. Them getting all knocked out with sleeping powder, again, nothing.
It could have been anywhere or anything. It was just another here's an actor I like to work with. I'm giving them a scene. It's like, well, that you're kind of giving them a scene at the sacrifice of the movie, quite frankly.
But then we get to the directive, the operative. Whatever the villains were called.
Yeah.
They're a base.
Yeah, the directive, I think, or
and
director.
And then this movie slaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This really got you, huh?
The tear gas fight scene was one of my favorite things I've ever seen. The tear gas fight scene was so fun. It was at that moment where I was like, oh, Kingsman 1 is back. Like all the best parts of Kingsman 1.
Interesting.
I was like, this is fun. I love I didn't actually feel like these two characters had a lot of chemistry through most of this movie, but then this fight happens and I'm like, oh, I get it. This is great. I love the equality, the partnership, just like the beauty of it, the death of it, but it's not like overly violent at the same time. There's not a lot of blood. There's not a lot of gore, which
it's
is
not
kind
a super violent movie, yeah.
Unlike Matthew Vaughn. You know they're dying. But then I was just like, I was like, it's choreographed well. It's really fun. It actually, for a movie that's so dumb, it also makes sense because like they're wearing gas masks and like they have night vision goggles on, so they can kill these guys and these guys can't kill them. But it's gorgeous. It was one of my favorite fight scenes of all time.
Interesting. Wow. I wanted to love this one.
Yeah.
I didn't like it as much as all of the fight scenes from the beginning of the movie. It's emotionally, I see what you're saying. I'm on board. I get that. I think the visual effects fell a little short here, where it was like there were times where the smoke looked a little cheap and it didn't quite work.
Oh, I think it was supposed to though. Like in order to look thick enough and like it looks like hearts and it looks like it's.
When it reaches that level of like it's campy, it's obscene, it's they dance so hard the smoke has made a heart shape. I'm like, it doesn't need to look realistic because we now exist in a heightened place of reality. That's fine. But there were moments where like it starts out. I actually got more sold on the action scene as it went on because it reached that heightened sense of reality. But as they come out, it's like, isn't it cool that we're coming out of smoke and shooting guns? And I'm like, this smoke doesn't look fucking good or right at all. And it's not fun and campy yet. It just looked bad. And the gas masks that they're wearing, the type of like full glass front gas masks, which is like a type that exists, and it's a great way to show an actor's face. But similar to the cat in a dome, it's something that a visual effect that they didn't have, and a visual effects department had to input the glass and input the reflections and then put the actor's face inside and then warp it around the edges because curved glass makes your face look all fucked up and warped around the edges. And I don't know if it was a realistic warp that makes them look fucked up or if it was poorly done warp, but the whole time I was like, this is actually kind of gross. Like anytime there was even a hint of what was supposed to be Sam Rockwell or Bryce Dallas Howard's face in there, it looked like MODOK in Ant-Man and Quantumania, where I was like, that is a face with 800% magnification. It doesn't fit into whatever thing. It looks wretched. So that was my main thing, is that I'm like, I love the heightened reality and the fun of this, but like I actually like had a tough time looking at it a couple of times.
Okay. I mean, I'll give you that. I wasn't trying to sell you on it. I didn't think the faces looked weird, or if I did, I thought it was just the glass. It didn't bother me. I liked the camaraderie and fun of the scene. And I also think this is what I meant kind of at the beginning when I said this movie in the first 2 acts is trying to pretend like it's not dumb. Because in the last act, you get...
It's dumb.
It's dumb. The gas becomes a heart. She's going to skate in oil in a second. And I also really thought that scene was fun. But these two fight scenes...
That was fun. I liked that.
These 2 fight scenes don't fit the rest of the movie, which had very realistic, straightforward, grounded fight scenes. So the movie kind of... Just because she got her memories back, the reality of the movie shouldn't be different, of the fight scenes.
Okay, I see what you're saying there.
So that's kind of what I was getting at, of like, I don't think it all exists in the same universe. In that way. Like, it feels like she enters the book-verse.
Oh, right. Which is her universe. She re-enters her own reality.
It is, but it's just her memories. Like, it's not like... Yeah. So anyway, unless that's just what she's seeing, and the whole movie is from Bryce Dallas Howard's point of view. I don't know. But anyway, I also thought the oil was fun, though.
The oil was fun. The oil was fun as hell.
As someone who loves the movie Batman and Robin, which has an ice skate scene where they fight Mr. Freeze and they kick some skates out of their boots, I was like, yeah. Batman and Robin walked, so Argylle could skate.
I do 100% agree. These 2 action scenes are big dumb fun in the correct way. Even though I feel bad because it was like, you were building to the one action scene you love, and I don't mean to shit on the visual effects of that one. I do think it was big, dumb fun, and I think that this scene is also big, dumb fun. I like her skating around. It really works. It's playful. It's dumb. It's silly. Whatever.
It really, that's the scene that really gets to the point where you have to be like, it's all just stupid. Because, like, obviously, if you put a knife in your boot and you went through some oil, it would make way more sparks than a gun would.
Yeah.
The concrete versus knife.
And then she also just shoots a gun later, so whatever.
She just shoots a gun, but it looks really cool. And she's doing a really fast little loop, and they established that she could skate.
Yeah. I love it.
That was all. This was all really, really fun. I even like just shooting him through the heart, but she actually shot him. I was kept waiting for like the reveal of like, before we got here, I knew you put a vest on or something. I'm like, you shot him.
And even him being like, you shot me within a 2-inch window after not holding a gun and having no memories for 5 years. She's like, yeah. He's like, oh, well, all right, that's crazy. Like him getting on board with big dumb fun, everyone buying into that world. It's a really fun place that this ends with. And I do think that in the third act, I buy their chemistry a lot more as well. Even though Bryce Dallas Howard, I agree, may not have been the right casting choice and doesn't quite fit what we're looking for, but it's the chemistry is way stronger in this third act. Yeah,
once her memories are back and she's like more of a badass, you can feel it. And like I feel like Sam Rockwell also, even in character, he's like, I'm not holding back anymore because now you remember it. He wants a smooch. He's like, smooch me.
Yeah. And I think that there is something like within the narrative of the story to be said there that like maybe that was some of the performance-based decisions that Bryce Dallas Howard is making, where it's the like, well, I'm actually a different person who he wouldn't like for the first half of this movie. I'm a cat person. He's a dog person. I am not at all the person that he fell in love with. So why would I play it as someone that he loves? And why would I play him as someone that I love? And that might be the motivation and decision there, but like there still needs to be a sense of like an undercurrent of chemistry that's there at all times, and it's not there. But once she does turn back into this Argylle character, it is there. Yeah,
it really is never there, though, until she turns back. Like, there's no moment of, like, they look at each other, even just one of them, even just Sam Rockwell giving her a look of, like, longing or, like, wanting to be with her.
Yeah.
Or, like, of, like, anything. So, yeah, they really tone that down a little too much, maybe to hide the twist as much as they can. Because this movie does successfully hide the twist from the marketing.
It really does.
From the viewer, it's you don't get to know.
Yeah, so there's a lot to like there about like finding out kind of fresh in a theater and the marketing plan, not giving it away. One other like little positive casting note that I do want to kind of throw down is that I think this was great casting for Bryan Cranston. Bryan Cranston, no surprise, a terrific and ranged actor. But it is this sweet spot of like, I am surprised it took us this long to get Bryan Cranston as a head of a secret organization type, because that is the sweet spot for people who have both, like, I know how to do the heightened reality of TV sitcom, and I also know how to do prestige drama. Like, that is just a very good place for this, of like Michael Keaton, Alec Baldwin, that type of like,
very rare,
I have a comedy background, but I also know how to do like the big heightened drama and Cranston knows how to do that. Like, I'm a commanding presence as well. He is the perfect casting for this, and I'm honestly surprised it has taken Hollywood this long to give Cranston this I am in charge of an organization energy.
I mean, he was Zordon in Power Rangers.
Oh, so there we go.
He was in charge of the Power Rangers organization.
That is being in charge of an organization.
It's not an evil organization.
Certainly.
The evil, I think, is actually quite key, because that is where I think the camp comes in, and I do think he's very, very good. And I do like, as much as like we don't really need those scenes, I do actually like him like kind of playing like double Breaking Bad again. Like, he meets Ellie and he's like supposed to be your dad. He's like, oh, I'm just a bumbling, simple man. I definitely don't run an international drug business.
Yeah.
But then he's like, no, I do run a.
Well, that feels
I am the badass of.
That feels like Michael Keaton's Spider-Man Homecoming.
Ooh.
It is kind of the exact kind of thing that they're playing. The like, yeah. And he plays that. He could have also played that role. They easily could have switched those two. Keaton could also have played this role very well. Also,
Ooh, I don't know if I can see Cranston throwing a punch at Tom Holland though.
Oh, I could see him as a vulture. I could see
him as like the dad in like the organized part, but I'm like, the actual fight scenes I've never seen Cranston do.
Oh yeah, I don't know if I've seen Cranston do a fight scene.
I would be curious to see. I mean, I've seen him do like the speed walking and Malcolm in the Middle, which is pretty fast.
That's pretty fast. You got to watch yourself. That's pretty fast. It's mostly a CGI bird robot,
pointy
so
helmet.
It would have been fine with the CGI bird robot.
It would have been fine. We would have made it.
Everything would have been all right. But yeah, I really like him as this type of role. I think this really works for him.
I think he was super well cast. I think it really works for him. I actually am wildly impressed with Samuel L. Jackson, and I feel like we say this every time Samuel L. Jackson's in a movie. But like, he has so little to do in this movie. And in his final scenes, he's alone in an office, and he's just waiting for a file to download. And it is the most captivating part of the film. He has no one to bounce off of. There's nothing happening except a download bar is stopping and starting.
And a Lakers game occasionally.
And a Lakers game is going on in the background, which he's maybe following, but I think he's left his attention from that at that point. But he is just selling the energy and the importance and the enthusiasm. And he's like 78 years old or something. Like, Samuel L. Jackson, you are incredible.
The dude rules.
Like, we often talk about how when like a failure of a performance is usually when you don't give someone to act off of.
Yeah.
Like Don Cheadle in Space Jam 2 is just on this green screen and there's no one else there when he's playing the villain. And we were like, Don Cheadle's a very good actor, but there's no one else there. Samuel Jackson's completely alone and nailing it.
Yeah, I love that Space Jam 2 was your frame of reference for that. And you know what? I want to criticize you, but I also now that you've planted that one as the example in my head, my brain is having difficulty pulling up the file folder that has other examples of that. So you fucked me, but so that it works. It works. It's a fine example, but that's where you went.
I'm right.
You're right.
I'm right. I didn't have a second example to help with your file folder's purposes.
But you're right.
But I'm right.
Yes.
Most people can't do a scene that well alone.
Yeah,
that's supposed to be comedic and energized.
And not only does he do it well alone, he actually benefits and he increases the quality of the other scenes around it. He increases the tension of the scenes that the other characters are playing by how hard he sells acting by himself in a room to nothing.
Yes, he does. And I appreciate that about him.
He's just a really talented dude.
Yeah. I've got a complaint.
Lay it on me.
Henry Cavill, like, other than like the like chase scene and then like cutting between Sam Rockwell, him and John Cena don't really get like much to do or many action. John Cena doesn't have any action scenes.
No.
John Cena doesn't throw a punch in this movie. Which is crazy when you've hired John Cena to be in an action film.
Yeah.
He pulls Dua Lipa off a bike.
He gets that one move.
That's one move.
But that's it. That's
it.
But yeah, not a lot. It really feels like they didn't have Cena for a long time while filming.
I don't know if if they didn't have him or if they just like, I mean, there's so many people that have such small roles in this.
True,
like,
true.
That they don't have enough to do. But yeah, I did think that was I just thought that was a little bit weird. Like, I guess Henry Cavill does get a fair amount to do when you consider that he cuts in with Sam Rockwell a lot of the time, but.
He's in a lot of the scenes. Like, yeah, he makes it to a lot of the sets to function with a lot of the other actors.
He was on set a lot. That's fair. Yeah. John Cena's longest scene is the one where he's just like hacking a satellite.
Yeah.
So I just thought I would like to see more John Cena when you hire John Cena.
Yeah. I see what you're saying there. Yeah. Or like that role could be diminished as well to be like, it's about Argylle. Let's keep Argylle the front and center. Whereas like John Cena almost kind of steals some of the attention without having any room to do anything with it as well.
Yeah, if a big muscular man shows up, I expect more action scenes to happen.
Yeah.
Although it did lead to a very funny joke, which I do like when Sam Rockwell's like, yeah, that's how you pictured me in your memory. Thanks. It's
kind of cute.
One of the better jokes in the movie.
Yeah, that's kind of cute.
Speaking of very out of shape people, though, they could have made this a joke. It's fine that they didn't. I think Bryce Dallas Howard would be so out of shape. They showed her doing like a little bit of yoga, but they said it'd been 5 years.
It'd have been, yeah. Physically, you'd
I don't go to the gym
rusty.
for 2 weeks and I get like the real sore legs. You're not doing the whirly bird.
Yeah, the whirly bird is a bit. I don't know. She might be able to whirly bird him.
Whirly bird him?
Yeah.
Do you know the strength you have to? I feel like that means I could whirly bird you. I've been going to the gym for 3 months.
Oh, see, I don't know. Bryce Dallas Howard looks strong.
She does look strong, but they only showed her doing some yoga.
Yeah, they did only show just a little bit of yoga.
And like yoga like keeps you like healthy.
Yeah,
but I don't feel like it gives you lift.
It keeps you
strength.
spy ready.
You're not a spy. It does explain why she'd still be able to do the splits though.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a full split, but like, yeah, you would still need a certain level of flexibility to do the whirly bird, even partial, yeah.
Yeah, I think when you start yoga with amnesia and you can already do the splits,
yeah,
you're just going to keep doing the splits.
Okay.
Probably.
Oh, yeah. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, you're coming in with an advantage. The lost memory of being already good at things.
Yeah, like she didn't remember that she was a spy, but you go to do the splits and you just can.
Yeah.
You're gonna just keep doing them.
Okay.
So I've talked myself back into splits.
You're getting back in there.
But her cardio and her lift ability and her punching and her kicking should still be like. There should have been a scene where she was just like, "Oh shit, so tired."
I don't know if she ever does a long stint of cardio.
I mean, the skating killing.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, that is a long stint of
Killing
cardio.
Killing people with guns in the tear gas isn't that tiring.
Yeah. That's more skill based. That's making it one hallway down. Adding a performative dance to it really ups the cardio of shooting a gun. Shooting a gun in itself, not the most exhausting thing. Doing it while interpretive dancing.
Well, she was killing them with knives as well.
Yeah. So that is, you know what? You're selling me now that is a heightened level of cardio.
Wait, no, I have a better one. I have a better time for her to get tired. When she's trying to kill Sam Rockwell because she's brainwashed, and he just like waits till she gets tired, like when Homer fights in The Simpsons.
Just wait for someone to tire themselves out. Yeah.
He's like, I'm not gonna fight you, but I know your cardio's down, so I'm just gonna wait you out.
Interesting. Okay. See, that's not bad. If we're going into some of the how did that work type of a thing. This villainous organization, she loses her memories, and they're like, we want her to write the books so we know what happened that day or whatever. Rather than like hypnotize her and just ask her in a slightly different way. But it's like, okay. And then you also like locked down a publisher, actually released it, wasted her time by like sending her on like press tours and readings. Like she has a sincerely successful career as an author.
Yeah, it sounds like, because like to be this successful an author, you can't just have good ideas. Your writing itself also has to be very good.
Yes.
It's not just an idea-based art form.
And even if this evil group, the directorate or whatever, is like, we own an evil publisher who is just going to give you a deal. And also, you need an an editor who is not going to give any notes or pushback to change the story in any way.
The plot's gotta be.
Because if one editor at some point in one of her novels was like, we need to flip this character and this location, then all of the things that are fucked. So it's like, but maybe the evil organization is like, we own a publisher. We've got an editor on our payroll who's not going to give you any plot relevant notes. And it's still going to be great writing somehow, even without an editor who can actually do anything for any of the things that you've written.
Honestly, may I say, as someone with a book coming out, what a dream. Who has been working on her own editor's notes for over a month. Bryce Dallas Howard must just be such a bitch in interviews. Like, actually, I handed in my first manuscript and my editor didn't have any notes.
No notes.
No notes.
I wrote the world's first perfect book on a first pass.
And then it got published, but then it was, I guess, sincerely good because it's a huge
hit as well.
Hit.
But then if you're the evil company that owns the publishing house and the editor and everyone, and the book blows up, at that point, Bryan Cranston's got to be like, people are buying you've got to be freaking out. You'd be like, I didn't think anyone, this was supposed to be a sham. Like, you're getting mad at someone who works for your organization to be like, you were supposed to pretend to release the book. It's not supposed to be wildly famous. But then someone on your payroll is like, also, we booked her to do a reading at Barnes & Noble. And if you're Bryan Cranston, head of the evil directorate who's trying to get her to write her next novel so you can find out where the kill switch key is, then you've got to be like, no! Don't send her to Barnes & Noble. She's not doing a reading at Barnes & Noble. Get her back to work to find our secrets.
We are not George R.R. Martining this woman.
Yeah.
She needs to write book 5. Why did she start the story so early? You have to, like, the fact that it's book 5 to get to the information
To get to present day, yeah. Oh my God. Like, yeah, if it's like book 5 and it's like, okay, well, a movie studio offered her a film deal to adapt the first 3, so now she's got to take time off to do that.
Yeah, they were too successful. Also, I'm going to throw shade at Bryce Dallas Howard's character because at her own book launch and her reading, she decided to read the end of the book.
Rude.
I don't think that's what you're supposed to do, girl.
Rude.
I don't think you're supposed to be like, all right, here's book 5, and Kira dies, and they got betrayed.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoy reading the whole thing. No.
And
no.
Also, the fact that she is a writer who, it is proven in the movie, takes suggestions from fans. She reads her public email, and fans suggest things, which she then incorporates into the novel.
Which legally you can't do.
In no way can you legally do that.
You will get sued for sure. Don't do it.
And also, if you are a writer who does that, there is no scenario then where you have written the amnesia truth because you've written in things that fans sent in. Mm-hmm. You've written in other things that fans
I mean,
have sent
she
in.
said that was going to be in book 6, which is not based on memories.
Yeah.
She was going to bring Kira back to life.
Oh, book 6 is not based on memories.
Book 6, but she didn't have any ideas from book 6 because, like, she doesn't.
I never even really pieced that together.
Yeah, that's why she couldn't write what happened next. She has amnesia.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck, yeah.
So book 6 would have had
Catherine O'Hara was not trying to get her to write the next book. She was trying to get her to add one more chapter to this one.
One more chapter.
Because she was almost caught up to reality. Mm-hmm. Ah, you got me. That logic is actually pretty sound. Not the whole publishing house and sending her on a book tour thing. No. Not all the other shit. Not all of the other shit.
This is so funny because I was going to tear apart a different part of their plan.
Lay it on me.
Because, Bryan Cranston and Catherine O'Hara think that she works for them. They don't know that she's a triple agent? Double? Single agent? Whatever.
I think she's a neither agent because there's no other agency. It's just whether she works for them or doesn't like them.
It's just rogue or not rogue.
A rogue or not rogue.
Rogue or not rogue. So they don't think she's rogue.
Yeah.
Oh, they do think, I guess, she was a double agent then because she was because they knew she was working with Sam Rockwell.
Sure.
But anyway, they thought she was fully on board. So then she falls in the lake and she loses her memories and they think she works for her and are like, let's give her some fake memories so she'll be on our side. Why not just be like, you're Rachel and you work for us.
You are, in fact, on our side.
Yeah, we'll keep you in shape. You can keep going to the classes with the guns, and that will probably bring your memories back faster if you like go to like muscle memory classes and shoot some guns and.
Evil scientist?
You just
Catherine
really-
O'Hara just made a call. She made a call.
We just really wanted to adopt.
She made a call, and it was a bold one.
Because in the original story, it made sense when they thought that she didn't work for her, for them. I was like, oh, okay, that's why you Manchurian Candidated her. You thought she was rogue.
But the fact that they make it a, like, we actually weren't sure.
We really thought you worked for us.
If they cut that line, it would make a lot more sense. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I do like that she's got the full Jason Bourne. I was hurt out of a window off into the water and then woke up without memories.
Oh, yeah.
It is
a full Jason
It is
Bourne.
the 100% Jason Bourne is what they gave her.
If Jason Bourne had woken up and then just...
And then wrote James Bond. Oh, like there's a layer to this that I absolutely adore. That the premise to this story is Jason Bourne wakes up and writes a James Bond novel.
Oh my God. Yeah.
That's the exact premise of this movie.
Yeah,
and
that's fair.
I kind of fucking love that.
Yeah, when her name ended up being Argylle, I was like, no.
That's yeah.
Do people call you Argylle a lot?
Argylle.
They don't just call you Rachel or Kyle?
Why couldn't your name just been Argylle? I would rather it just have been Argylle.
That was your code name.
Yeah. Your code name was Argylle.
Because clearly you like Argylle. Like it's on your fucking cat case.
Yeah. I almost would have preferred it as well if it was just Argylle. Instead of Argylle. Like Argylle is like you need to slur it a little to like to hear Argylle.
Yeah,
but like if it was just Argylle, I'd be like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, because her cat was named Alfie and Sam Jackson was named Alfie. Like some things just were 1-to-1.
Argylle. Let's just make it 1-to-1. Yeah.
I mean, that's very like Street Fighter.
Yeah. Well, I think adding to that the fact that they gave Henry Cavill Guile's haircut from Street Fighter to play Argylle, and he has the haircut of Guile.
Oh, I hate it.
I don't mind it, Frank. I don't mind it in the context of this film. It's hideous. If Henry Cavill just started walking down the street and being like, "This is my new look," I'd be like, "You fucking idiot!
What has Warhammer done to you, sir? Oh no,
you're busted." But for this character in this movie, for an absurdist thing, it does work to a certain.
That's fair enough.
It's in an absurd, heightened sense of reality where someone's supposed to look like an outlandish idiot.
That's fair. Yeah, it does really set the difference between reality and the real world. No one in real world was walking up to her with that hair.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm getting pretty close to the end, but I think we need to talk about the mid-credit scene.
Oh, sure.
Reveal?
The reveal, I guess. I don't know what you want to call it, or just having fun.
Just having fun. So apparently this movie is going to have a prequel movie, but also this movie was a Kingsman movie the whole time?
I think that's just a wink.
You think that's just a wink? Because I feel like Matthew Vaughn walked into a meeting and was like, no, it's a different spy movie. It's totally not a Kingsman movie. He's like, it's kind of a Kingsman movie, though.
Well, there was a moment, I'm going to say until Samuel L. Jackson showed up, I thought that Matthew Vaughn was about to Shyamalan Unbreakable split us, where it's like secret connected universe. But then when Samuel L. Jackson was playing a different character, I'm like, okay, we're not connected.
Well, that's why I'm mad, because I think he did Shyamalan twist this into 2 universes, even though this movie has 2 actors that are in the Kingsman franchise.
Okay.
And I think that's not allowed. I think he's sincere. I think Argylle works for the Kingsman.
But do you think that like the Kingsman movies exist as books written by Ellie Conway? Because like it's not the Kingsman in the reality of this movie. It is that post credit was because it even said book 1 the movie. So it was within the film, the rights to the first book got sold and are now being developed into a movie by a movie studio. So I think the idea is that the movie studio developed Argylle into the movie The Kingsman.
Okay. Because like they just revealed Henry Cavill existed though. So then when they, like, because he's in the crowd at the book reading.
Oh, okay.
So then
okay.
when they showed 20 years later, I'm like, that's young Henry Cavill and he exists.
It said 20 years earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
young Henry Cavill.
Yes. Yeah.
20 years earlier. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, so that's young Henry Cavill, who was now in the audience at Ellie's thing.
Oh, no, I think
You don't think that's what
the
happened?
young version of the character from the novels in a film that is being made on the novel.
Well, then what's Henry Cavill?
Nothing. It's just a goof.
I don't like that.
The Henry Cavill thing is a goof. Put that out of your brain. I'm going to say
Oh.
the Henry Cavill thing is a goof.
All right.
And the idea is what we saw in that mid-credit was a trailer for the movie based on the first book within the movie. This is Chris Evans explaining the movie Lightyear all over again.
He thought he couldn't be more clear. It was so funny.
This
you guys.
isn't Buzz Lightyear from Toy Story. This is the movie that Buzz Lightyear saw.
I get what you're saying, and I like that, but that wasn't clear at all to me. I like what you're saying,
Okay.
but not clear at all.
Yeah, it's not a trailer for a sequel to this movie. It's a trailer for a movie within the movie that is based on the book within the movie.
Okay, so this is based on book one, which is actually Bryce Dallas Howard's first story.
Yes.
Which is weird that she's a dude. Because I think that meant that Henry Cavill and John Cena should have had to kiss at the end.
I see.
Yeah.
Sure.
There's things I want in these films and
Would've been
things I
cool.
won't get.
Would have been cool with that, yeah?
Would have been cool with that. But yeah, okay. So that's what's happening. Because I think we didn't even talk about how Matthew Vaughn went fully meta in the real world, and there's a book called Argylle that came out last month.
I love
Oh no, I think that's actually
I love that they've leaned into it.
no,
Yeah.
I think that's actually genuinely fun. It's got a secret author who's never written anything before. It doesn't have any meta narrative of, like the author in the book.
From what I understand, like we haven't read it, but it's supposed to be like the book based on the book in the movie.
So like this
it
is supposed to be book one, which
Yeah.
I guess that movie will be.
Yes. So
So-
what we're seeing in the movie is not in the book Argylle, because the book Argylle is based on the book Argylle within the movie Argylle.
There's going to be so many parentheses to explain what's happening. But anyway, all right. We have very different interpretations of the ending, but there is a lot there to unpack.
I believe it's a trailer to a movie based on the book within the movie.
I believe it is a flashback to Henry Cavill, who exists as a man in the audience.
Who then later becomes
Who was a
nerd.
Kingsman.
Who is a
Later
Kingsman.
becomes a nerd. That's his undercover. I don't know.
Okay.
I think he becomes a Kingsman and the universes are connected. And if they are, I'm mad because actors can't be in the same franchise.
I agree with that. I agree. I think they can be if it. Well, even then, it's still weird if it's a movie, within the metaverse, within the whole. There's a lot going on there. Let's go in for the close.
Let's go in for the close.
Let's ask the final question of what would you change. So now that we've discussed everything we've discussed, what would you change about this if you could change anything? Before we do ask that final question, we will remind you, as we do every week, to please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podcast Addict, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Wherever you get your podcast, if you could take a quick second to leave us a 5-star review and also to tell us that you like us, that would be so swell. It would be just wonderful. We'd love that. Make it meta, make it not meta, make it straightforward. It warms us, it helps us on our hearts and in
Yep.
the charts. We always say it.
Absolutely. We love to see it. And as well, if you want to support the podcast monetarily, you can do that over on our Patreon page. Patreon's a monthly subscription service where you can subscribe at whatever level is in your budget and get cool bonuses for doing so. You can do $1 a month, $5, $10, $20, whatever you got going on. At the $3 level, you do get these episodes early and ad-free, which is awesome, especially when it's a new release like this. You can find out opening weekend if it's something that you want to go see opening weekend.
With no ads to muck up your time.
Pretty smooth and breezy. So you can do that for $3. At $10, you get a bonus episode of this podcast every single month.
Every single month on a movie we don't cover on the regular podcast. In January, we covered Escape from L.A. We had a really fun time. We're talking Pliskin. We're talking basketball.
Pliskin.
Buckets.
Yeah, two movies. That movie and Argylle. Two movies with a little hint of basketball. Just a little hint of basketball. So yeah, if you want to hear us talk about because Samuel L. Jackson in Argylle is watching.
Is that why I was thinking of Space Jam earlier?
Maybe
You
the
know what?
basketball tie-in.
I think that's why I was
All the
thinking of Space
basketball
Jam
tie-in.
earlier.
Yeah, we were trying to determine what game it was that Samuel L. Jackson was watching during this movie.
We think it was early 2020 before the bubble season.
Early season, the bubble season, but before they moved to the bubble. I'm like, it looked like a Lakers game. I think I saw LeBron, Dennis Schroeder, and Danny Green, and I want to say that that's bubble. terrible. But anyway, we digress. There's more basketball talk over on our Escape from LA episode, which is a Patreon exclusive. And when you sign up at the $10 level, you get immediate access to the back catalog. You can always change your level, cancel, or make any adjustments depending on your budget on any given month. But check out what we have to offer over at our Patreon page. It's patreon.com/fromsuperheroes. That's patreon.com/fromsuperheroes. And now, let's go in for the close. Let's ask the final question of what would you change? Diana, what would you change?
My changes are very straightforward. I'm going to have a replacement and a removal. No cat. Get this cat out of here. He's nothing. He's not funny. He's not cute. He's not anything. Pointless. And every animator who's worked on this film just said, thank you so much, Diana. We don't have to do the cat now. So get rid of this cat. It's not anything. And then this is a very rude change. I'm recasting Bryce Dallas Howard because I think she brings everything down. I'm going to give this role to Kristen Wiig. I think she would have really made like nervous Ellie like really nervous, and then badass Rachel really badass. I think she would have crushed this role. I think I really would have believed her in both roles. Her chemistry with Sam Rockwell would have been out of control.
Yeah.
I just think she would have been spectacular. I think she would have elevated this movie to a love for me. And I rarely do a recast, and I feel mean about it. But I think Bryce Dallas Howard really brought this movie down.
That's a good recasting. I'm trying to think of it. Yeah, because I think Bryce Dallas Howard was cast to play Ellie and
she
not
was
Rachel.
Not Rachel.
A movie that was about a writer, like about a spy novelist writer that doesn't then digress into a meta conversation about spy thrillers. I think she is good casting for that. But yeah, in this particular movie, I could see that.
Yeah, because as much as Wonder Woman 1984 is not good, Kristen Wiig is very good at being like nervous, shy, and then a badass in it.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
And I think that's the exact trajectory you need here, and also is so funny. So I'm putting Kristen Wiig in and getting Bryce Dallas Howard out. Andrew?
I like it.
What would you change?
I love that change. I'm fully on board for that. I'm also doing a recasting.
Oh, shit!
Yeah.
Whoa, this is so random.
This is a very random and rare one.
Neither of us ever recast very often.
Very rarely do we recast.
If it's not Bryce Dallas Howard, I can't wait to hear who you're recasting.
I am recasting John Cena to a female character and restructuring around playing with gender expectations and norms within this movie.
Ooh, I love where this is going.
So in this movie, Bryce Dallas Howard's character, or Kristen Wiig's character, is
the character of Ellie.
An author, the character of Ellie, the author, who's writing Argylle, and it turns out she is Argylle. That in her head, she's Henry Cavill. She is a cool, suave brick shit house. She is awesome. And then Sam Rockwell is playing like the nerdy one on the comms sidekick, which due to roles in like media and film, she perceives in her memory as like a more feminine casting. And I kind of like the idea of like the gender roles being reversed in the novelization of what she writes, and to be like, this is a societal expectation of a fictionalized story of how these roles work, and we in reality are actually operating on the opposite. And I also very much don't like that she is Argylle. As the movie progresses, she looks in mirrors and reflections and sees herself as Argylle, and she is Argylle. And then at the end of the movie, when it's like, it's time to suit up like your characters, Sam Rockwell gets to wear the Argylle suit, and she has to wear the sexy dress of the villain temptress in the book. And it's like, no, Bryce Dallas Howard should be in an awesome velvet three-piece suit. Because she looks fantastic in that dress.
She does, but I get what you're saying, gender role-wise.
Fucking flip it. Put her in an awesome velvet suit who's suave and cool and a badass who threatens people, and have like Sam Rockwell just as like a sex bomb who's on a computer. That's who this dude is. I want them to play with expectations and gender roles a little bit more, and I want John Cena's character to be a female-presenting character in order to have them kind of flip those traditional expectations in media, film, television, and books, and flip it into reality. And that's an additional layer of meta conversation, and also just something that's more fun to play off of, and to do it tastefully where it's not the joke as well. Because that is one thing that I really like about about her seeing herself as Argylle and then being her character is that it's never made a joke that your perception of masculine or feminine traits are not made fun of in this movie. It just is or isn't, and that's fine. And I think that that's very cool and very progressive and very un-Matthew Vaughn to be like, your perception of your gender roles and image is the construct that you perceive it to be, and just move forward with that. I want more of that.
I like this idea, but also what you just said, I don't really trust Matthew Vaughn to do it.
It could be,
but he did very well with what he has, though.
He did half of it very well and tastefully
very
here.
well.
And it was never a joke.
I would really worry if he tried to take it any further, it would not go well. But I like the idea of what you're saying a lot.
If he just does what he did in this movie twice without making a joke of it, it works. I think.
I don't know if he could. I agree, though. It's not like awesome that she's stuck in a dress that long. I did like that they gave her just like fucking boots for the final half.
Yeah.
And she could just like stomp around in, and she wasn't stuck in heels or anything. But yeah, she should have been in an Argylle suit.
She should have been in the Argylle suit.
That rules all the way to hell.
She should have been in the Argylle suit.
Love that.
Yeah, she should have been in the Argylle suit. Sam Rockwell should have been in a dress, and it never should have been a joke, but it should have just been.
Love this.
No.
No, it's a great change.
That's where I'm at.
Wonderful. And no cat?
And of course, no cat.
Yay!
I agree with you, no cat. Why is the cat there to begin with? It's idiotic. So that is going to be it for this week for Argylle. Next week we are going to be back, and next week we were talking about bad times at the El Royale. We are building up our Dakota Johnson.
One of the Dakotas.
One of the Dakotas.
North, South,
we're talking
Fanning,
wherever you want to
Johnson.
go. We're building up Dakota Johnson towards Madam Web because they're studying spiders in the jungle. So don't even worry about it.
I mean, you do got to build up hype for Madam Web.
You do got to build up hype. So you got an ensemble cast next week. We're talking about bad times at the El Royale. We're dipping back to that one. But in the meantime, if you want to get a hold of us, you can find me on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky. I'm at Ivimey, Ivimey.
I'm Pics of Diana or Words of Diana on Tumblr.
And you can find all of our stuff over at FromSuperheroes.com. And we'll talk to y'all next week.
Bye.